Welcome back to our YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen. Just a quick request. If you are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two and subscribe. Or if you are our regular viewers, but you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so that YouTube will inform you whenever we release a video like this. Like our videos and share them. As usual, our supporters and our subscribers, I want to thank you in a very special way. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a report that has been released by IMF, International Monetary Fund. It is about the growing economies. They've got their projection. You know, IMF and World Bank, these financial institutions usually deal with several nations. And of course, there is an argument that any nation that deals directly with the IMF and World Bank have never grown. But there is a discussion for another day. Today I want us to focus on the report of the IMF because it is not good news to President William Samoei Ruto. But let me ask you, if you compare our status where Uhuru Kenyatta left us and where we are today, for example, if it is the maybe the social status, political status and economic status. For example, recently William Ruto wanted to go and try and arbiter for some peace in Sudan, and one of the warring parties refused and said, "No, you are not neutral. You are a person who takes sides." If it was Uhuru Kenyatta who was being sent to Sudan, they would have accepted him because of the social stature and the political stature, the way he is regarded in the African Union. I can't talk so much about the level of democracy, because Kenyans are being beaten and killed when they demonstrate on the streets. The same way I have seen Ugandan citizens being beaten on the streets when they try to go against President Museveni. And the same way I have seen Tundu Lissu being beaten and his supporters. So in the level of democracy is the same. The problem with the Kenyan constitution is that they are written so well, but implementation and respect to that law is what we lack. Our president continues to threaten our courts. Yet when he took oath of office, he swore to defend and protect our constitution. So concerning the level of democracy, I don't know, maybe we are at par. Even though we pretend, the way Madame Suluhu says it, we speak a lot of English in darkness, maybe. In terms of shillings, we have always known that the Kenyan shillings is more powerful compared to the Ugandan shillings and the Tanzanian shillings. But I don't know where we are now. I want us to look at the report that has been released by the IMF, and this report, the fastest growing economies in 2024, real GDP growth projections. This is what they think will happen, the projection in 2024, having worked very closely, and they have the data and the statistics of most of these nations. And there is a list there that I want us to look at. This list has number one. I think this is most of the emerging economies. If you leave the already established economies like US, China and all that. And the very first, we have a country that has got a name that I can't pronounce. It's Mako Sa something, I don't know. Guyana, Pala, Niger, Senegal, Libya, Rwanda, Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso. Those are African nations. And then number 10, Benin, India, the Gambia, Ethiopia, Cambodia, Tanzania. And I want you to look very closely. Tanzania is number 15, Bangladesh, Djibouti, Burundi, Philippines, and Vietnam. Tanzania being number 15, the report is self-explanatory. That in the East Africa, because now in Africa we can't talk. You've seen all the countries that they have mentioned, Burkina Faso, India, all those. But now I want us to measure in or narrow in within East Africa. That is Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Congo. Congo had threatened that they want to walk away, but I think they are in. Burundi, Rwanda, and Sudan. Those are about 7 nations. During Kibaki and Uhuru era, you would talk about Kenya and they would shiver. It is what we call when Kenya coughs. Well, let me say when Kenya coughed, all the other East African nations caught cold. But today, that is not the issue anymore. I don't think we have that respect, because you've seen the way the Tanzanian president mocks us. You've seen the way Museveni is running away. So the report basically is that Tanzania is an emerging economy and it is taking over the Kenyan market as we speak. I want us to look at this video that someone sent me. It is a video of ships that have abandoned docking in the Kenyan side of Indian Ocean, and they are headed to Dar es Salaam port. And you could hear people there saying that they have left, Kenya, and they are now rushing to Tanzania. Most of investors have abandoned the Kenyan market, and the ships are now rushing to the Dar es Salaam port. In this video, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not an economist and I will not pretend to be one. But I want us to look at the political angle, and I will give views that does not need or do not need any rocket science, because we all know the aspects of economy that can make it grow and that can make it grow have a downgrading trend. And I will give you reasons. In fact, these are things that we can discuss them together, and you will know why this report is real. And let me just say this, a disclaimer. This is not a report from Kenya. It is not an opinion poll which you can say has been influenced by the opposition. Neither is it something that has been done by a Kenyan. If anything, IMF has been very friendly to William Samoei Ruto. They have given loans. They are dictating how we live. They dictated that we remove all the subsidies. They dictated that we increase taxes. And William Ruto is working according to their dictates. They are friends. So this can never be influenced by a third party. One of the reasons why I want to believe this report, and why I believe that we are losing our economic stature in East Africa, is what we call political unrest. This began by a bungled election in 2022, last year. We all know this is something that we can sing over and over again. But the truth is, we had a bungled election, and the baby that we were given was given to us by Chebukati, by Madam Kome and the team, by Meg Whitman and the team. And many a times when we suffer, I think of those 3 people or 3 bodies: the PEXCOT, the IEBC, and the international community that includes UK and the US. After the elections, you all know that we took sometimes running battles on the streets. And so when people are running, people were looking for electoral justice. And we were demanding that server should be opened so that we know who won. But thank God time is a healer, because Raila abandoned that cause for the sake of peace. And during that period, the government itself said that we were losing over 2 million shillings per day. And some economists were projecting it to be more than that, because the government cannot give you the exact number. In case soldiers go for some battle somewhere and we lose 10, they will tell you there are 5. So some experts were saying that if you hear the government saying 2 million, it is more than that. When a government loses that kind of money, tell me whether that government will grow. And it happens more than once. So that you'll realize that after the whole saga and the mayhem, we have lost over even 500 million. Then it means that even if you are not an economist, you understand where the rain started beating us. And that is why we can never recover because we started on a very, very wrong foot. Number two, and in fact, I remember Madam Suluhu was saying that they received an influx of investors. Alikuwa anasema tumeona wekezaji wengi wamekuja nchini huku kwa sababu majirani wanapigana, something of the kind, that investors were fleeing from our country and they were investing in Tanzania and of course the other neighbors. So you know, when people, I remember during those demonstrations, there were a lot of trailers, stranded in Malaba, in Busia, especially Busia and Namanga, because of this. They had started feeling the heat because some of those trailers go as far as, through Uganda, Rwanda, and all that. So that is one reason. Number two, the high taxes and levies that we have imposed. The video that I showed you is as a result of their complaining that we have increased even the levies on that we charge on our ports. We've increased the amount of money that we charge when on our game parks and game reserves. And someone was asking a question. Why must I go to Kenya even to watch animals? Or why should I go and dock my ship if you are an investor? If there is an alternative, if you can get the same services in Tanzania, you can go to Serengeti, you can go and watch the very, very animals that you see in Kenya, you can have them in the other countries. So taxes has really influenced the growth. Many investors, or let me just talk of employers, are now relieving the employees of their duty. Why? Because the housing levy demands that there is an amount of money that the employee will be deducted, and as an employer, you also pay for him or her certain amount. And most of employers are saying it is untenable, and especially now that even the cost of production is high, because when we added we increased the levy on petroleum products from 8% to 16%. That was it. When you increase the prices of petroleum products, everything, production, everything. So this also has influenced, and it's the reason why we are losing our position economically, because investors are running away. That is it. When investors run away, even the rate of unemployment increases because they will not be taking our Kenyans to go with. The other time I was getting that Rai has gotten a market in the other neighboring countries. And when he decides to close, where will you take all the people who are employed? And when you do this, even the purchasing power goes down, because when a company closes and you have 100 people who have lost their jobs, what does it mean? So this is not rocket science. These are things that you can easily see. The third one is corruption. When you have corruption in the country, people run away. The other day, Museveni was saying that there are a lot of bureaucracies in our oil market. And he was saying that he's being charged exorbitantly for nothing. And then in the dossier that were given by Raila and Okeya Mutata, the middlemen are just government officials. And I remember the names of Chirchir, the Energy Cabinet Secretary, and Murkomen were mentioned there. And it behoves one to ask, what kind of government do we have? Because we cannot project a positive growth economically when the very government that is supposed to protect employees, protect the Kenyan citizens, are the ones that are involved in sacking Kenyans. It is not possible. So with corruption, some people will run away, some people will give up, and it takes away the sweat of other people. So corruption is also another thing that benefits, because Museveni also went to TZ. They are all benefiting. When they run away from us, they go to Tanzania. And I think because of the policies that the Tanzanian government have put in place, they are getting the advantage over us, because we are not serious at all. Number 4, I think this is the last one, why I believe that Tanzania is overtaking us and why I believe that this report is right. Incompetent failures in offices. Tribalism, where we don't look at people, their merit. There is no meritocracy in our employment. Our deputy president has said that this is a government of shareholders. So even if you look at the cabinet that President William Ruto has, it is full of politicians because they are meant to achieve some particular goals. You assign, you appoint Aisha Jumwa, you reward her for ditching Raila Odinga. You reward her for supporting you, and you want her to go for vote hunting in 2027. You appoint Ezekiel Machogo in a very, very sensitive docket, and within a few months, the value of our education system is deteriorating, especially when you compare to the people who are there. This is why sometimes you look at Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru took the best. That is why we had people like Fred Okengo Watianyi and the little Professor Magoa. William Ruto will take the best in terms of politics. It won't be full of propaganda. He will take Hussein because Hussein really crucified him during interviews. But when it comes to performance, he will take people he knows very well cannot. That is why he's over everything. He goes abroad to negotiate. He goes to the other countries to negotiate for domestic workers. I mean, our president is very funny. So incompetence. Appointing people of your tribe and you cannot, sack them. The other day, I had people, mocking Tanzania that they are also experiencing blackouts. But their difference with us is the way they deal with the blackouts. Madam Suluhu dissolved the entire electricity board. What about us? People like Chirchir are still there, and we are told we are making plans, blah, blah, blah. Because there are certain tribes that are manning lucrative dockets because it is our time to eat. When this is happening, a country can never grow because we have people who are in those dockets not to grow our economy, but to steal. And you cannot deal with them because umewaweka hapo ni watu wako. And ladies and gentlemen, this is why I feel and I strongly believe that there is a problem and Tanzania is overtaking us. Very soon, the other countries like Rwanda, as small as Murkomen described it, will soon overtake us, because I want you to picture this government in the next 5 years or 4 years that are remaining. A lot of talks, a lot of promises. They assert that the economy is growing, but when you look at it, nothing is happening. I'm happy that it is IMF that has brought this report. And I know economists will start arguing with me. I'm not an economist. I've just given an overview as a layman and the political angle that this is taking. I don't know what you think, but that is my take.